West Point Military Academy had a problem in 2004 and before 2004. And that was that 1 out of 5 cadets dropped out of West Point. Now, they wanted a better graduation ratio, obviously, and they had a lot of applicants. 14,000 people applied, and from that they whittled it down to a pool of 4,000 before admitting 2,500 into the school. And since the process for admitting was so difficult, they looked at academics, standardized test scores. They took people who were captains of their varsity sports teams, people who had great potential to succeed as West Point. They really wanted a higher graduation ratio. They were unhappy with the people that they were losing. So they called on Angela Duckworth. Angela Duckworth was a psychologist who was studying and theorizing in an area of psychology that nobody was looking at before. And they asked her, why are so many of our potential good candidates dropping out? And so she studied them over a couple years and she found out what the problem was. The difference between those who graduated and those who dropped out was a thing she called grit. And grit is a simple willingness to not give up. She uses this word, and I like this word. It's an unusual word. She uses the word a striver. The person who strives, who puts in the effort, she says, beats the genius and the talented time after time. After she worked at McKinsey in New York, she quit that job and did a teaching job at Lowell's High School in San Francisco. And she was teaching the math class there. She was teaching the second tier, not the top honors students, but the ones who were decided, it had been decided that they were not gifted. And she had a certain student named David. And David, he didn't do well on his first test, but he worked really hard at math. And through the course of the year, Angela Duckworth realized that he had great potential. So she took him to the principal's office, the principal evaluated him, and he was moved up into the honors classes. He eventually graduated from Swarthmore University with an engineering and economics degree. He was a striver. He had grit. He didn't necessarily have the innate inborn talent, but he worked hard and he beat others. So Angela Duckworth concludes that aptitude does not guarantee achievement. There's a lot of people with aptitude who don't go on to achieve anything significant in life. Angela Duckworth has a colleague, Dan Chambliss. He's a sociologist, and he was a swimmer. And for 6 years, he studied swimmers. And he watched events, went to events. He even traveled with swimmers to competitive events. And he's trying to answer the question, what separates the winners from those who come in second, third, and don't quite achieve that high? And so he wrote his paper on his conclusions entitled The Mundanity of Excellence. I don't even know what this word means, mundanity. It means that achieving excellence is the mundane practice of drilling and training and drilling and training time after time until it's boring and mundane. Excellence, he says, is not because of inborn ability or natural talent. Excellence is a set of skills, each of which can be separately and patiently and boringly trained to make a winner. And they quote Nietzsche, our vanity, our self-love promotes the cult of genius. Our society thinks that some people are just naturally gifted and talented and are cut above the rest, and that's a falsehood. The people who stand out are the people who actually work really hard. So what does this mean for us? Maybe you recognize this guy. This is me. What does this mean for me? This means that maybe if I haven't succeeded right from the get-go, if I'm not among the first crop or the cream of the crop to hit success, I can still hit success. I might be the second crew or the third crew. It means that I can learn anything and everything. All of us have our strengths and our weaknesses, And your weakness is not something to avoid. Your weakness is something to strive at and to become better. If at first you don't succeed, do it at the second time, or the third, or the fourth. The striver beats the star. And as Angela Duckworth has subtitled her book about the power of passion and perseverance, passion and perseverance will help you to achieve success.